This is not your garden variety audiobook. It's actually a script for a long-forgotten movie in a genre called jungle noir. It's written in a rare film format called endangered scope, so I'll explain some of the visuals as we go along. Ready? Here we go.
Woolly Family Studios presents The Case of the Cursed Dodo by Jake G. Panda. Narrated by Michael McConaughey, with J.W. Terry, Dave Mallow, Molly Brandenburg, Antoinette Attell, Ian Whitcomb, Chris Cabrera, Barbara Watkins, and Bob Lines. Produced and directed by Roger Rittner.
The poacher's camp. It's later now. All the lights are off. The men have turned in. Inside cell block 3, Jake's eyes pop open. He grabs the pocket knife, folding out a small metal file, and goes to work. Moments later, a loud thud jars Doc awake.
Crikey, what's that?
He hops to the front of his cage and looks out. The door to Jake's cell is off its hinges and lying on the floor.
Jake?
Jake's face pops into view outside the bars, startling Doc.
Stand back.
Jake begins filing away at the metal hinges. It takes some work, but soon Jake has sprung all his cellmates. They scurry toward the tent opening.
Guys, I got a bad feeling about this. What if we get caught?
No one's gonna get caught. Just stick close.
Jake checks to make sure the coast is clear. The animals creep out and around the corner. Doc points to a small pup tent near the camp's perimeter.
There it is. Solitary.
Jake and the others sneak inside, closing the flap behind them. The tent is empty, except for a single cage. The professor is sprawled out on the floor inside, snoring loudly.
Professor!
The professor groggily sits up, getting his bearings.
Who's there?
It's me, Jake.
Jakey. Come on in. How's my little fuzzy buzzy?
Shh!
Hey, don't shush me.
His head is swaying from side to side like a twig in the wind. Stan leans in.
What's his problem?
They doped him up good. Look at his back paw.
The professor's foot is wrapped in a heavy gauze bandage.
It must have got hurt when they nabbed him.
Hurt? Nah, I'm fine. I can walk. She?
The professor stumbles to his feet and goes over like a pile of bricks, slamming into his water dish and making a huge racket. Doc turns to Jake.
You're gonna have to carry him.
The professor rides piggyback style on Jake's back as they hurry toward the camp's barbed wire perimeter. The professor says, clearly having way too much fun.
Pipe down! You're gonna get us caught!
Oh, okie dokie, Mr. Big Shot, Mr. I'm in charge.
Jake's getting desperate.
Lou, a little help here.
You got it.
Lou flies up and punches the professor right in the kisser. It's lights out for Bunny.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but it'll work.
The escaped animals reach the camp perimeter. Jake removes the pocket knife and begins snipping away the barbed wire with a tiny pair of wire cutters. Jake pushes the barbed wire aside, letting Doc, Lou, and Stan pass through. Behind him, the two main tents light up. Inside, we see the outlines of men hurrying about and hear shouting voices. Dogs bark.
Go!
Doc, Lou, and Stan turn tail and run. Jake flings the professor over his shoulder and squeezes through the barbed wire into the open woods. The poachers burst from their tents, pulling on boots and slinging rifles over their shoulders. Flashlight beams cut through the darkness as barking dogs yank on their leashes. The men cut them loose and fall. Jake calls out in a loud whisper for the others.
Doc! Lou! Stan?
No answer. He hears movement behind him. Dogs bark. Men shout. The beams of their flashlights cross one another, searching the woods. Jake ducks behind a tree as a beam of light sweeps past. He takes a relieved breath and steps away from the tree. The ground beneath him gives way and he drops out of sight.